I did not say nothing like that.
But you see, that's how they interpret it.
Yeah, because they stuck on that religious, spooked out
right
to begin with, and because evidently somewhere in their mind they got comprehension problems when they hear other people speak.
Well, you know, they was talking about the you know, the creator and, you know, whatever. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And the demons got a hold of your soul.
Yeah, oh, you see what I'm saying? There we go. There we go. That explains it there.
Yeah.
that explains it. Now, what better insane person you hear they come from? Somebody speaking that type of language, right? Okay. Like you said, just like sun ain't reality,
yeah,
demons ain't reality. So
yeah.
let's get real. You know, you put your own words in your mouth.
Yeah.
Like you say, sun ain't reality, but demons ain't reality.
Right.
You see, so I'm just saying.
The demons are real, but Santa is not real.
Exactly right.
You know, you can't. Well, I mean, you can't show me the so-called real Santa, and you can't show me these demon things, whatever you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they describe the demons as emotion or something like that. But see, that goes back to that talk I had about, you know, that I just gave not too long ago about, is there a life after death? And in literary terms, it's something called impersonification. Impersonification is giving something that is not alive or human characteristics. And that's what this person done. They're not saying that the demon's actually some type of creature. They're saying that it's some kind of emotional stuff, but they putting human characteristics on this emotion. And but you're trying to say like it's alive, it's its own being or something. But anyway, with that said, I want to try to keep this under hour. I want to get out of here.
All right.
Because we are on the air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are on the air.
All right.
I want to welcome everybody to the Reality's Temple on Earth. I'm Angel Snub 7, and online with me I have Brother Taalik, Assistant Administrator for this ministry, and also a co-partner in what we call Operation Exodus Mississippi. And I would like for you to make sure that you subscribe to Brother Taalik's channel. The link is in the description box. Make sure that you subscribe to Brother Taalik. Also, make sure that you subscribe to Operation Exodus Mississippi, because I don't know what the deal is with this channel. I'm out of Facebook jail. It's amazing. I mean, not Facebook jail, YouTube jail, because the live stream on this channel was disabled because my channel, some of my videos was got flagged, and so when they do that, it disables the live stream. So we've been doing our live streams on Operation Exodus Mississippi, and I wouldn't get too happy over this channel because I know at any moment the live stream can be disabled, if not the whole channel torn down. So please subscribe to Brother Taalik's channel. The link is in the description box. Subscribe to Operation Exodus Mississippi. We don't want to stay here long. The intent was not to be here for a very long time. I did see Brother Guy. He came a little bit early, like 15 minutes ago. Chances are he'll probably come back, because this is probably one of his favorite subjects, even though it's redundant. It's become redundant. Really, it is redundant. Keep talking about, you know, Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. It's becoming really redundant, and it can get to the point of boredom. But I just wanted to make some points because of a video that I saw, not of Louis Farrakhan, but of Elijah Muhammad. And so I wanted to talk about that real quick. Also, this is like a double topic. I also wanted to talk about God, and I want to talk about how God is the biggest bully of them all. I want to talk about that. So we want to talk about God, the biggest bully of them all. I want to talk about Louis Farrakhan's hatred of Malcolm X. We want to do this. And on the phone with me, I have Brother Taalik going to join me in this discussion. We're not going to be here long, maybe an hour. If y'all want to, if Brother Guy comes back or whatever, y'all get into whatever. Y'all can keep talking. I'm going to be out at 5,000. I'll be listening behind. You know, I don't want this to be a long, dragged out one. But yeah, welcome to. Also, we simulcast as usual on Facebook. And let me go check my Facebook before we really get started into this talk. Yeah, we're doing well on my Facebook. Facebook is live. It's working like it's supposed to. And we are on YouTube live. Okay. And it seems like everything is working like it's supposed to. I know everybody is shocked. I am out of YouTube jail. Live streaming is, as you can see, is back in effect. So we will be live streaming here for a little bit. And again, subscribe to Brother Taalik channel. The link is in the description box. Also, Operation Exodus Mississippi. And if you have not done it, and maybe you've already done it on this channel under a different title, but make sure that you check out Soul Liberation Day 2019, where we kicked off the official, we kicked off Operation Exodus Mississippi, the official campaign, and we're going to strive to actually make that a reality. It's very, very difficult because it must become a national effort. It's a lot of work, and I'm not even sure I'm not even sure if we have even the time to pull this off, because there are those who naturally want to fight against you, your own people, let alone outside forces. They don't want you to even get off the ground. But see, the thing about this, I truly believe if we can get this momentum going, there's nothing that can stop it, because people will see the results. They will see that it's going in the right direction, and the hype and everything. It's like we will experience what you call the snowball effect. The snowball starts rolling down the hill, and it just keeps coming, and boom, boom, boom. There's nothing that you can stop. There's nothing out here that's better than OEM. There's nothing. If you have a solution better than OEM, I want you to bring it to us and let's test it. I want you to test your solution, making a business, building a school, whatever it is that you think is better than OEM. I want you to bring that here, and I want to challenge that, because the only thing you can do is make us better. But I truly feel, in fact, I can with most confidence say, I know that you don't have nothing better. So it's best to get upon what we call this soul train. With that said, let's get into the conversation. I don't want to be here very long. Brother Taalik is in the house, and we got good brother Steve is in the chat room already. Thank you for coming, good brother Steve. And all of you who are listening, all of you who are in the chat room in the future, those of you who will be listening to the future, I thank you so much. I'm just happy that I am out of YouTube jail. It's nice to be broadcasting from this channel for a change. But again, y'all, subscribe to Operation Exodus Mississippi, the YouTube channel. Now, let's on this busy, let us get busy. All right. Okay. What brings me to this double topic? First topic, Louis Farrakhan's hatred of Malcolm X. I know this is a very redundant subject. And, you know, really, Farrakhan is going to continue to do what he does. You know, our little words, we understand that our little words don't mean too much because this man has a whole lot of people mesmerized. You know, they all feeding in his hype. I'm glad that I never was like that. I did not know who Louis Farrakhan was until the 1980s. I was raised basically on the teachings of the Nation of Islam, but no minister talked to me. I was raised strictly on Message to the Black Man, Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived, and so forth. And even the lessons, I have relatives in the Nation of Islam, and they gave me all the lessons, everything that I needed, because they know I really wanted to be a Muslim, but I could not be a Muslim. So they sent me everything that I would need in order to be a registered Muslim. So Louis Farrakhan don't impress me. No minister impressed me because I learned it straight from the horse's mouth. There was no other influence other than the exact writings of the Nation of Islam and the lessons and those things that was given to the believers in the Nation of Islam. And my people have been in the Nation of Islam even when Elijah Muhammad was here. So they know both sides. They know when Elijah Muhammad was here, and they also know, of course, and they was also involved in the beginning rebuilding process of the Final Call Incorporated. There is no Nation of Islam, y'all. Louis Farrakhan legally only owns what is called the Final Call Incorporated. He does not own the intellectual property of the Nation of Islam. The only one who owns the intellectual property, which is no longer owned by anyone to my knowledge, is public domain, is the family of Elijah Muhammad. And apparently they don't care nothing about that stuff. But Louis Farrakhan, his what he represents is what is called the Final Call Incorporated. He has no ownership, no right, no legal right to Message to the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arrived, How to Eat to Live, Book 1 and 2, and so forth. None of the intellectual property of the Nation of Islam. Let's make that perfectly clear. Okay. Now, I was watching a video by Elijah Muhammad. That's why I want to talk about what I want to talk about tonight. Now, as far as Louis Farrakhan is concerned, Louis Farrakhan introduced me to Malcolm X. I did not know who Malcolm X was, but Minister Farrakhan spent at least 10 years trying to destroy the legacy of Malcolm X. That's what he done. Saying hideous things about this man. I didn't know who Malcolm X was. The first time I heard about this brother called Malcolm X, he was a traitor. He was a hypocrite. He deserved death. That's what I heard. That's what I heard, okay? So if I really was into Farrakhan like that, then you would assume I would hate Malcolm X too. But see, I think for myself. These people don't impress me. Some of y'all get mesmerized because somebody can talk good, they articulate, whatever. Minister Farrakhan talks wonderful. He's very charismatic. He talks wonderful. That don't impress me. Hell, I can talk a little bit myself, okay? That don't impress me. The only reason why I was with Minister Farrakhan, because he said he was bringing the original teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad back. That's why. I was not following Louis Farrakhan. I was assisting, I was helping him bring back what I wanted to be a part of. That's what I was doing. He does not and has never impressed me. So when he started talking about Malcolm X, I decided to do my own research and see who is this Malcolm X person. And when I did my own study of Malcolm X, I found out my conclusion was Malcolm X did not do nothing wrong. Elijah Muhammad was in the wrong. The Nation of Islam was in the wrong. Malcolm X did not do nothing wrong. Elijah Muhammad was a deceiver. It's simple as this. If you are married to a woman and you tell that woman you like men, okay, y'all have an understanding. Your wife already knows you like men, and she said, that's cool with me. Just bring home the paycheck. And she don't care. Then people would tell you, they would tell her, man, I saw your husband with these men in this gay bar. She don't care. She already know about it. But if her husband is a deceiver, there is no agreement between him and her that he can see men, and he's telling her that he's a pure heterosexual and he's in love with her, then he's caught at a gay bar. That's different. That's called deception, people. If Elijah Muhammad, according to the Quran, he's a messenger of Allah, if he can have all these wives, that's cool. I'm very sure that the believers and the followers, they can accept that. But when you hide in secret and you teaching monogamy to your people, but in secret, you are messing around with teenage women, young women behind, in secret, that's a problem. That's deception. I don't care if you're the messenger of God. I don't care if you God yourself. That's a deception. That's deception. Elijah Muhammad was in the wrong, point blank. But see, when you are involved in these cults, when you are involved in stuff like this, into this hero worship crap, your hero can do no wrong. That's probably the reason why Michael Jackson is dead right now. Because the brown noses that was around him, he could do no wrong. So there was nobody to tell Michael, you need to leave those little boys alone. You're going to end up in big, big trouble. They don't care. They brown nosing him because they want to be around Michael Jackson. And of course, that whole thing ended up being part of Michael Jackson's early demise. Elijah Muhammad, like I told you, I love Elijah Muhammad to death. That's my spiritual father. That's the first man I ever knew, Elijah Muhammad. But he was wrong. And Elijah Muhammad taught me through his writings, through his book, stand on what is right. I don't care what, stand on what is right. Malcolm was only doing what he was taught. Stand on what is right. There's a big banner at every Savior's Day. It says, protect the black woman. What Elijah Muhammad was doing was the exploitation of the black woman. Malcolm X was stepping up to the plate like he was taught to defend the black woman. This black man, messenger, or whatever you want to call yourself, he was wrong. Only thing Malcolm did was do what Elijah Muhammad taught him to do. Elijah Muhammad is not exempt. That's all Malcolm did. And that's what I would have done too. Now, they call, because of Malcolm's actions, which the teachings and the Quran support, they're going to call Malcolm X a hypocrite. A hypocrite really means one who pretends to be something that they are not. Malcolm X was not a hypocrite. He was not in the nation pretending to be something that he was not because they kicked him out. He was no longer in the nation to be a hypocrite. Hypocrites stay among you. Hypocrites are not outside of you. They stay in the house. Hypocrites are not outside the house. A hypocrite does not mean you believe, then you turn to disbelief. That's not what a hypocrite is. But then let's just say, let's just use that. Let's just use that definition, that a hypocrite means one who once believed and now you don't believe. Okay. Remember now, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if Malcolm is a hypocrite and he's a traitor and he's worthy of death because he's a hypocrite, then Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan, both of them are hypocrites. How? Because prior to Islam, look, prior to Islam, Elijah Muhammad was a Baptist minister, right? Farrakhan was a believer in Jesus in the Catholic Church, right? They gave their allegiance and they said they believed in Jesus. Then they turned their back on our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. They became hypocrites. They became disbelievers. So they betrayed the Catholic Church. They betrayed Christianity. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That means they deserve to be murdered just like Malcolm, because Malcolm was a hypocrite and a traitor. They was a traitor and they turned hypocrite also. So that means they deserve to be murdered also. They are also worthy of death. So in that case, they should have been assassinated for being a traitor to the Pope. That's the bottom line. Now, Farrakhan, he confessed to being a hypocrite. He confessed out of his mouth. He said out of his own mouth, I'm a hypocrite. I was a hypocrite. But now, when Malcolm was a hypocrite, he was a traitor and deserved death. So again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. How come Farrakhan is not telling people, y'all should seek my death? Oh, see, double standards, huh? That sounds like double standard. And then even Elijah Muhammad said this at a table. He told Farrakhan and a whole lot of the other big shots. Elijah Muhammad said, one day, all of y'all gonna turn hypocrite on me and leave me. That's what he told them. And that's exactly what happened. But ain't nobody saying that they deserve death. Nobody is calling themselves a traitor, worthy of death. But that's what you said was good for Malcolm. You a hypocrite, and actually they did worse than Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't deserve death, right? Okay. I want to remind you of some words by Louis Farrakhan. Why he's so filled with hatred for Malcolm X. And he said this, and you can look it up on YouTube, some of these speeches. He said, Malcolm X was bringing hurt and harm to the person I love. And he said, when you love somebody like that, you are willing to kill. You're willing to murder. That's what he said. So Farrakhan is telling you, I'm willing to cross that line to murder somebody. But yet and still at the same time, he's saying that the government has something to do with it, but he's telling you that he himself, because of what Malcolm done, because I love Elijah Muhammad so much, I could cross that line to murder. So that gives us the thinking that maybe he did. See, everybody that commits a murder don't get caught. Just because Farrakhan has no charges on him or nothing like that, that don't mean that he was not part of the conspiracy. That does not mean he did not know, had nothing to do with it. That don't mean nothing. Everybody that commits a murder, there's a lot of people that commit murder and get away with it. Farrakhan's hatred continued even after Malcolm X was dead. Why are you talking about Malcolm X in 1980? The man been dead for over 20 years. But here go Farrakhan. It even gets to the point, and you can see it on YouTube and look this up. It even gets to the point where Farrakhan said, or he was praising the murderers of Malcolm X. He called them heroes. And then he offers this weak apology on this interview with Mike Douglas and one of Malcolm's daughters, talk about, I understand my rhetoric, you know, that caused people to get all hyped up and whatever. Farrakhan has never officially said, look, what I did was wrong. I was, you know, that was another day in time. I'm sorry for what happened. He never said that. I've never heard him say that because he's not apologetic. The only reason why Farrakhan is saying what he's saying about Malcolm now being on the light side is because people refuse to accept Malcolm in the nasty light that he's presenting him, except these crazy ass followers. Nobody's accepting Malcolm like that. That's matter of fact, many people don't support Farrakhan because they say and believe, I don't care what the nation talking about, what Farrakhan say, they really believe that the Nation of Islam murdered Malcolm X. Even that mentality, it's people that was not even alive. There's people who had nothing to do with it. I saw a video where his brother said that he would kill Malcolm X. So that mindset, that mentality is still there, way long after Malcolm is dead, because Farrakhan was the one feeding that murder, hate of Malcolm X. All of a sudden, you love this man so much, I'm willing to kill for Elijah Muhammad. Now, all of a sudden, you think that all of a sudden this man's supposed to be falling in love with Malcolm. That ain't how things work. He had a hatred for Malcolm X back then, and he has that hatred now. Plus, Farrakhan wanted Malcolm's position, and he got it. But one thing Farrakhan will not get, and that is the love and the wonderful legacy that Malcolm left. Because even if you watch the old black and white clips and lectures by Malcolm, you could look at Malcolm and you get this feeling that this brother was so sincere. Not to say that he was an angel, not to say that he was an angel, not to say he was holier than thou, but you can tell that this brother really was a sincere follower of those teachings, and he loved soul brothers and sisters. You can tell. And I don't care what Farrakhan say, I don't care what these other blind followers say, it don't make no difference. The people overall are not going to embrace your hate-filled, biased, self-righteous rhetoric. They're not going to do that. Malcolm is going to have a long-lasting legacy. Farrakhan's legacy is all messed up because he's incompetent, a celebrity seeker, and just a nasty kind of guy. Period. And anybody with any sense can see that this person is not like Malcolm X. Oh, then you have somebody, and I'm not trying to down him or nothing like that, but you have somebody like Maurice Muhammad who believes that he's Malcolm X, that he's something like Malcolm X. Maurice, brother Maurice, you are no Malcolm X, okay? You know, he says that he loves Malcolm X when he was with Elijah Muhammad, but then he has this hatred for Malcolm X when he left. Look, if you love this man, you love him during the phase when he was lost, then he became found, became in the nation, and when he left the nation. When you love somebody, you just love them as they go through their changes.
Yep.
That's just how, if you love somebody. You don't love this man. You are brainwashed by Farrakhan to hate. And you are the hypocrite because you are a liar. You don't love this man. I only love him when he was with Elijah Muhammad. Well, you don't love him at all then because he did not stay with Elijah Muhammad. He became himself. He became the Malcolm he should have been. Even if Malcolm was not assassinated, I believe sooner or later he would have left that organization because the only thing that organization do is hold you back.
That's true.
Malcolm understood what revolution really was about. And that when you are involved in these religions, the only thing these religions do is make you docile and hold you back.
Facts.
Make you cuddly, footly, duttly, and cuddly, and tolerate your oppressor. That's the only thing those religions do. and Malcolm wasn't going to stay there. But all this to say, that's the reason why Farrakhan so hate-filled with Malcolm, and he's putting on the front like he all of a sudden he loves Malcolm X. No, you don't, sir. Your words and your actions have shown for years that you hate this man. Now all of a sudden, everything is beautiful in his own way. Malcolm X, come on. Who you think you're fooling? The Muslims murdered Malcolm X, and y'all can say, oh, the FBI and the CIA. You can say that all that you want to. You still have the same nasty, hate-filled attitude right now, and Malcolm X is not even here. The FBI, CIA did not control the Muhammad speech. There was a picture of Malcolm X with his head being cut off, rolling around in the Muhammad speech. The FBI and the CIA did not control that. Farrakhan was on the radio every week talking about how this man needs to be murdered and saying nasty, vile things about him. The CIA, FBI, whatever, no. They are very convenient scapegoats. That's what you're using them for, because the government has done some things. But this is what y'all done. You done it. It's mighty funny. There was no attempt on Malcolm X's life until the Muslims fell out. There was no attempts. There was no threats on Malcolm's life at all, to my knowledge. I've never heard Sister Betty Shabazz said prior to the Muslims that there was people calling, threatening Malcolm's life until the Elijah Muhammad Muslim thing. So you can fool these other people who can't think and don't use common sense. You're not gonna do that with me. I know better. But in conclusion,
brother,
yeah.
Let me chime in. And with that said, brother, you remember when Malcolm X stated that the Nation of Islam always had a history of killing other black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you go back to the 1930s, when that organization got started in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Under the guy they call Master Farad Muhammad.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to be a law in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, up under his watch, as well as up under a guy named Ugan Ali, who was number 2 in command under him.
Yeah.
This even before Elijah Muhammad came on the scene, period.
Right.
Okay. They was going around committing murders, which was called the zebra killings, sacrificing people. And these was not Caucasians either. These was black people, to the point where the police in Detroit had to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because it started really getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
With them killing all these people. And this is why Master Farad Muhammad vanished away and disappeared off the set. And this is also part of the reason why the guy that they never heard of, or don't too many people know about, as far as the nation's history is concerned, Ugan Ali, is because he was given an ultimatum. Either you leave this organization alone, or you gonna be sitting up here in this crazy hospital we got you in.
Right.
So, I mean, and all you got to do, those of you that is listening, go, because Omar Shabazz got a video on this.
Mm-hmm.
And he clearly explains this on that one video on his channel. Matter of fact, what is that video called? Because you had sent it to me.
Oh God, Master Farad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, go to Omar Shabazz channel and check that video out. And another thing I want to just state is this, is that even during the 60s, Malcolm X wasn't the only, ex-member or current member in the nation at the time that was murdered by those in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of people who was questioning the authenticity of whether Master Farad Muhammad was in fact God, is what they taught. And as a result, people in numerous cases lost their life behind that. And they, to this day, have not even been found.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, these ain't Caucasian people, of course. I mean, even Malcolm said that these Negroes was even killing each other far as back in 63.
Mm-hmm.
You know, over just petty stuff. They was killing each other. Now, they supposed to be brothers in the same brotherhood, among the same ranks. But they ain't no different than the niggas on the corner killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was going on, even in the early 60s. So, as time went on, we could imagine how it got worse. People forgot that the Nation of Islam had their hands tied into the Black Mafia in Philadelphia in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
It's a book on that.
Mm-hmm.
People need to go check it out. It's called, I think, the Black Mafia. It's talking about them brothers in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Jeremiah Muhammad was the minister at the time of that temple. And, you know, long as the Nation of Islam received their cut and whatever was going on, they could care less about what them guys was doing, as far as terrorizing neighborhoods, especially even killing their own people, you know, over drug-related stuff. So, I mean, you know, the Nation of Islam had their hands heavily tied into crime. You know, they were robbed just so they could, you know, bring in donations to go to the mosque or the temple. I mean, this was part of their repertoire. You know, so, I mean, people say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad cleaned up a lot of people and this and that, but they were still, a lot of them were still criminals.
Right.
And people in the hierarchy of the Nation of Islam knew about this.
Right.
Like I explained about the brothers in that temple in Philadelphia. They knew about this, but didn't do nothing because long as the bacon was coming in, they didn't care nothing about that. They was taking that cut. Matter of fact, they encouraged it to keep their cut coming in. You know, it was like it was another brother. He was a minister back in the 60s, caught up in crime and corruption in Washington, D.C. I mean, these people have a history of organized crime. They wasn't no different from the mafia. I'm talking about the Italian mafia.
Right.
This is one reason why the mafia had so much respect for them. Because they were very well organized. No, I have to say, no other entity in the history of America that the Italian mafia ever respected as far as black people was the Nation of Islam. There's been no other entity in America besides the Nation of Islam that had that type of respect. It wasn't because they was upright, standing members of the community, trying to defend black people or trying to uplift black people. It was because they had their hands tied off in a lot of crime. Which is why when things did get a little complicated with the mafia in the Nation of Islam, a lot of times people in the Nation of Islam was given a pass. It's like when the mafia tried to take over Muhammad Ali's career and the Nation of Islam stepped in. You know what I'm saying? reason the mafia couldn't control Muhammad Ali was because of the counter tactics that the Nation of Islam used against what they was trying to do. So, I mean, you still had people of that criminal element in the Nation of Islam. And mind you, Herbert Muhammad, who was the manager of Muhammad Ali, was milking him for a whole lot of money. So they didn't really protect Ali from the mafia because they so much loved him as a brother and cared for his best interests. Them niggas was milking Muhammad Ali. So, you know, like I said, at the same time, you know, they have a history of crime out this world, you know, and some of them is still in the game. I'm talking about cats. I know cats in Farrakhan's camp right now, they still smoke cigarettes. That'll pull a cigarette out of a Newport pack in a minute. I mean, they still involved in that adulterous, unadulterated lifestyle that they claim that the teachers cleaned them up from. And they ain't no different than them cats of the Moore Science Temple under Noble Drew Ali. Them some other gangsters, you know, which is a different story that I'm going to have to let wait at another time, you know, because they got a temple in my hometown of Detroit where, you know, the police always stayed in and out as far as raiding the temple, you know. So, I mean, these organizations that black people look to, like the Nation of Islam, to save them from themselves, you know what I'm saying? They was just as incorrupted as well. They was just using that as a catalyst to hide their dirty religion behind. But rather than say they dirt, to plainly put it out there, you know. So, like I said, man, you know, when them cats killed Malcolm X, there's no doubt that evidence show and prove that it was cold, calculatedly planned, and just like Malcolm X's daughter said in that interview with Farrakhan and Micah Douglas, I think his name is, that it wasn't no government officials that had anything to do with her father's killing. It was people that looked darker than her. Because you know, she kind of got a lighter skin complexion. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and then if you think about it, just like that guy William Bradley or Willie X, I mean, he was out in the open visually all them years in Newark, New Jersey. Right. And according to what's his name, Hayes, one of the guys that got sent to prison over Malcolm X assassination, came forth and said he the one that pulled the trigger that ultimately killed Malcolm. And Omar Shabazz wanted to expose this because he even had full public information on his address in Newark, New Jersey. And all them people that claimed they supported and loved Malcolm X and wanted justice for Malcolm X wasn't nowhere to be found. So to those who support Malcolm X, where were you when you had an opportunity to get justice for a guy who never did a day for assassinating him? I mean, he lived his life in peace and died in peace. Something that Malcolm X had just as much right to do. You know, so this is what gets me, man, about those, you know, in the conscious community who claim so much to be behind their leaders, but won't get out there and really support them, even in terms of getting justice for them. So basically, people people that killed Malcolm X simply got away because most all of them got out of prison.
Yeah.
Didn't none of them do no more than 20-some years. And the one he still, and he was just out openly. Like ain't nothing going on. And everybody know who he was. You know, but like it just go to show you, people really don't want to do nothing like they say they about. You know, they don't want to do nothing to, you know, get justice or equality as they claim. I mean, this is the reason why a lot of our average brothers and sisters in the street, who the 5%ers, nations and gods of earth, consider dead, don't want nothing to do with black consciousness because they see all this going on, you know, with the fakery in the conscious community. And I'm going to tell you something. If I didn't have no experience in the conscious community or any type of self-awareness as far as dark-skinned people go, I would have probably said the hell with this too a long time ago, soon as it was presented to me. Especially these days. Because, I mean, it's a bunch of fakery. Ain't nobody trying to be free of their oppressor. And that's what Malcolm X was about. You know, and it's like spitting on his grave. I mean, them people that be going annually to visit his grave site in Harlem where they buried him at, you know, they might as well be spitting on his grave tomb. Because, I mean, they don't really mean him no good.
Can I step in for a minute? Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, I just wanted to step in. The brother was on point. Definitely was on point. Just want to say thank you for having me on your panel, my brother.
Yes, sir.
But first of all, man, like I said, when I went to the ceremony to pay homage of our brother Malcolm X, I didn't see one Muslim there in the Nation of Islam. That just shows you how much hatred they have for that man. When you saw the 60 Minutes, when I debated the Arab wannabe Negro, he's a piece. I'm letting you know he's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. The way his approach of handling situations is disgusting. I played the 60 Minutes in a debate, and you've seen it.
Yeah.
And what did Farrakhan said? He said there was a lot of jealousy in the nation when Malcolm was in it. And not only they was jealous of him in the nation, they was jealous of him when he left the nation. There was more jealous of him now because he became bigger than the Nation of Islam.
Right.
So so the government the government looked at it as, okay, we got to take this guy out because this guy was fighting for our reparations. He was going into the UN.
Right.
And the UN said that they was going to back him up. The United States didn't want that. Okay? They didn't want that. So that was business to them. So they worked with the nation. They worked with the Nation of Islam. They applied them with guns. And they told them they had a mole to scope out the area where Malcolm was going to be at. And that's how they dealt with him. And to them, it was personal. So this whole, I hate to say, but this whole Muslim thing, black people becoming Muslim, is disgusting. And when I did the debate, when I showed it, it was rooted from a white man called Prophet Muhammad. Now you got all these Negroes they traded one slave name to another. Yeah. Now everybody want to be a Muhammad off of a white man who owned them. And I even put that in my debate. And all those guys said, and you would think it would start maybe say, well, you know what, this guy has a point. Well, I didn't know this. Then I showed Farrakhan how he started taking pictures with the white mother-in-law, and He's a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
I showed them how he betrayed black people. Show me one picture that Malcolm X took picture with white folks. Show me one picture that Taalik took picture with white folks. If you at war, you don't take pictures with your enemy. That's what I thought. Because didn't the Arab wannabe always say, "Oh, we at war, we at war"?
Right.
But then your leader taking pictures with the enemy, and not only that, he's getting money from his enemy. So Louis Farrakhan is a traitor, and he need to be dealt with like a traitor. Just like, didn't he say that about Farrakhan? Did he say that about our greatest hero, Malcolm X? So, but I guess the rules don't apply to him.
No.
So this is where I get pissed off. Because the Arab wannabe Negro, he said, "Oh, we're at war." But your leader have Latinos in the Nation of Islam. First of all, that organization was supposed to be for us, not for nobody else. Now you got white Latinos are in there now. Now there's a lot of swirling going on. So the black woman, she's going to be pushed out. So you're going to have all these self-hating black men is going to get with these white Latinos. This is what you're seeing now. You're going to have a lot of mixed breeding now. But we at war. So I'm a little confused. See, this is the reason why I don't like religion, because it caused a lot of confusion. That's one thing about the white man. He did a really good job on us. He used the religion to cause a lot of confusion. Because now black people don't even know who's the enemy now. Who's the enemy? Because you saying white people are the enemy, but you see your leader taking pictures with white folks? So, to me, anybody, and this is me personally, anybody that takes up for Farrakhan is my enemy. They're my enemy. That Arab wannabe Negro, he's my enemy. That's why I would never respect him. I would never respect him. And I just did a video, and I'm tired of these Negroes, that these conscious pimps, using scare tactics to get money. So they play videos just like the Arab wannabe Negro, because that's all he shows. He got his little initiative media bullshit. And that's all he shows is what white people are doing to black people. And then he turns around and say, well, if you want change, if you want to see action, donate your money, and so we could build this grocery store, this mystery grocery store in a deserted town. How's that work, Taalik? Can you explain that to me? How's that work?
I don't know. I'm not trying to build a grocery store.
All right. So I mean, if the town is deserted, who's gonna buy the food there? You're not gonna make money. How come he couldn't build the grocery store where he's at? Everything starts from home. You don't go to another state that you're not familiar with. And then then he goes in and it becomes a Muslim store. And guess who's gonna take credit? Farrakhan. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be part of that. And they take this conscious, when you say conscious means aware. But what happens is people run that word to the ground to the point it turns people off. Like I'm conscious, but I'm not gonna walk around saying I'm a conscious dude. I know I'm conscious. But if you're conscious, you're supposed to do away with the white man gave you. That's what I always thought. You don't keep it and try to put a black face on it. Am I right?
Right.
So this is what you're seeing now. You see a lot of, I guess, like you said, you still see slavery all over again with a black face. That's all it is. That's all you're saying. So I just wanted to say my piece. That's all.
It's fine, brother. It's fine. I just want to say real quick, the views expressed on this program does not reflect the campaign called Operation Exodus Mississippi. Okay, it has nothing to do with our personal opinions. Everything that's being said here, the campaign has nothing to do with our personal opinion, has nothing to do with religion or any other political idea. I want us to subscribe to Brother Taalib's channel. He's in the link is in the description box. Also subscribe to Operation Exodus Mississippi. The link is in the description box. I want to say what's up to my sister Sunshine in the chat room and all those who are listening. I know this is a shock to you guys that we're here because this channel, the live stream, has been shut down for a little. I can't remember how long we've been shut down, but actually they enabled it quicker than I thought it would be enabled. But we're all right. Also, we're going over the time that I wanted to. I thought that we could be able to do this in an hour, but clearly we're going to continue to roll on because I want to discuss this thing here and add my last 2 cents in on Louis Farrakhan's hatred of Malcolm X. And again, what brought me really to this was not even really Louis Farrakhan. It was the words of Elijah Muhammad himself. And I was watching this video and they was asking Elijah Muhammad about the death of Malcolm. And basically Elijah Muhammad was saying, real nonchalant, yeah, Malcolm got murdered. Yeah, we doing fine, no big deal. He didn't show no kind of remorse or nothing, and he was going on about his business. Basically what Elijah Muhammad was saying is that Malcolm X basically caused his own death because he taught violence, and so violence took him out. Now, I want to talk about that real quick. And also, Elijah Muhammad said that basically Malcolm X was jealous of him and he wanted to be him. So that's why it was urgent for him to lead the nation of Islam so that he can get all this fame and glory, because Malcolm actually was he was a celebrity seeker. He was this man looking for all this, praise and everything. That's what he was looking for. He wanted to be better than his teacher, that type of deal. So my response or my reply to that comment is this. First of all, Malcolm did not say anything as far as violence was concerned. He didn't say anything no different than he did when he was in the Nation of Islam, that you have the right to self-defense. Malcolm X did not teach or suggest nothing outside of that. Only self-defense. Now, if you can show me where Malcolm was talking about murdering somebody, causing somebody harm outside of self-defense, please enlighten me, please show me. So I don't know what Elijah Muhammad means that the man died. He deserved to die violently because he was a teacher of violence. That's a false statement. That's not even correct at all. Then Elijah Muhammad says that Malcolm X was jealous of him and he wanted to be in his seat or whatever. Now, see, this is my problem. Elijah Muhammad is the teacher, right? Right. Malcolm X is the student, right? Right. Now, for those of you in the real world, when you are in school, and I'm going to use Bruce Lee as an example. Bruce Lee had, to my knowledge, 10 different teachers. And all of his teachers was glad that he was able to supersede them. That's what a teacher does. There's no teacher that wants their student to be on their level. They push their students to be better than them. That's what they do. But see, in the case of Elijah Muhammad, He's the one jealous because you have a student that's superseding you and you calling yourself the messenger of Allah. You was taught by God, but you got a student that's actually superseding you. So the one who really was jealous was Elijah Muhammad. It was not Malcolm X. Because a real teacher, and any of us that had any real teachers, you know that your teacher strives and pushes all their students to be better. If your teacher is a mathematician, they want you to be able to take that mathematics discipline to another level. If your teacher is a race car driver, he wants you to take that sport to another level. All teachers want you to be the best that you can be and supersede them and take that discipline to another level. But Elijah Muhammad became the one that was jealous because he can't talk. He did not have the charisma that Malcolm had. He just did not have it. If anybody was jealous, it was Elijah Muhammad. It was not Malcolm X. He was a very humble, you could tell Malcolm was a very humble person. And he loved Elijah Muhammad. Matter of fact, he was doing everything he could to put Elijah Muhammad on the highest level ever. Malcolm X had to be murdered because they knew that if he was able to put the Nation of Islam on the map, they knew that he was perfectly capable of putting himself on the map and superseding the Nation of Islam and leave the Nation of Islam in the dust. Number one reason to commit murder. And you can talk about the FBI, CIA, and all that kind of stuff that you want to. This is what you're dealing with. Okay? And we're going to...
I just want to add this too. There's speculation going around, even though not on a broad scale, but that the Nation of Islam has something to do with Class 13X assassination. Even though they said that he died because of his gambling habits. I mean, yes, the brother did have vices. Who don't have vices? Elijah Muhammad, of course, we know had vices.
Right.
But the thing is that he was starting to totally be different offshoot organization from the Nation of Islam, and it was conflict.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? To the point where tension, got to going up, where violence even played a part in it. And see, a lot of people don't know this history because they don't do their research, but at the time when, Clinton was murdered, back in 1969, Louis Farrakhan was the minister of Temple 7. The same temple that Malcolm X was the minister over. So, I'm just saying, all we got to do is connect the dotted lines. Do our research, but connect the dotted lines. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say for sure if it's accurate that the nation had him killed, but it is definitely open for question because of the circumstances surrounding Clinton's relation with the Nation of Islam after he founded the 5%ers. You see what I'm saying? So, once again, it indicates the history. Like Malcolm said, of the Nation of Islam history of killing nobody else but black people. We never heard them having a history of killing white people, not even since the inception of that organization. As a matter of fact, they had a bond pact with the KKK. You remember that? Malcolm X spoke on that. Where they was getting money from a white man out of Texas named J.L. Hunt to keep their organization economically stabilized. But yet, they still going around screaming this, the white man, the devil, the white man, this, the what? why was you taking this money? And I'm talking about this during Elijah Muhammad's time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the same time, once again, like I said earlier in the video I made, you know, relating to something else that's not related to this topic. But however, the most honest people I've found among the so-called religious black community is black Christians.
Mm-hmm.
They're more honest than them pro-blackity black Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
The ones in the conscious community. I just got to call it like I see it. Even though they worship a man that look like the slave master. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them in their own ways, I ain't talking about these big Reverend Pork Chop pimps like Creflo Dollar and T.D. Jakes. You know what I'm saying? Or Reverend Ike's type cats. I'm talking about, you know, those Christians who are devoutly into what they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Pay their tithes sincerely, do whatever they do, and even help other people from their hearts. I've never seen too many people like that in the so-called conscious black community. Not even in the organization I once belonged to, known as Nubians. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, at the same time, when I look at the situation on a whole broad scale level, it's like what I see at this point, just like what even Brother Omar Shabazz said in the comment section of one of my videos, you know, that in fact, we are headed for extermination, basically, like he said. Because our futures are very, you know, dim. Our future is looking very more dimmer and dimmer every day. And like I say, we won't be the first or last civilization to be destroyed the route we're going as a people. I mean, and for those who claim, like I say, that they're for the liberation of our people, in spite of even all this history, like what we talking about with the Nation of Islam, if they're not willing to change that, history is going to keep being repeated. And this is what's going to help lead to our demise as a people. Because if we're those in the black conscious community who claim that they're supposed to be the breadwinners for the rest of the masses, the dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, yet we see we got a lot of guys in the penitentiary that go by the name of Sharif, Hakeem, Allah. You know what I mean? Because they sold dope or killed people and did all this other stuff. I mean, you know, like I was saying before at the beginning of this video, a lot of them cats in the Nation of Islam, even some of the ones that go way back to Elijah Muhammad, and still into a lot of, you know, dirty corruption in them streets. You know, and I come from Detroit where the Nation of Islam originally started at. And I'll be seeing some things that it's not even, you know, appropriate for me to even talk about on air. But I mean, it is, I just call the diamond in the spade like it is. But go ahead, brother, resume.
Okay. Brother Guy, you got any last comments on this particular topic?
What's that again?
I said, did you have any last comments on this particular topic before I go to the next topic?
No, not really. No, I think I pretty much said everything.
Okay, all right. Okay, once again, a disclaimer. The views expressed here tonight does not necessarily reflect, in fact, do not express the views of the campaign called Operation Exodus Mississippi. That campaign has nothing to do with anybody's personal ideas, opinions, or religion, or political idea, or nothing to as far as that's in effect. Also, before you leave, hit the like button. Before you leave, subscribe to Brother Taalik's channel. The link is in the description box. Also, in the description box, also Operation Exodus Mississippi, the YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe to that, because I don't know how long we're going to be here. Yeah, YouTube be tripping. Tomorrow, this channel could be terminated. The live stream, you know. I mean, that's how they
don't talk about the flip flop now.
That's how they do me, man. I've had 100 channels, 100 channels destroyed. So you know, nothing is shocking. But we're gonna use the white man's tools as long as we can. Last topic for the night. I just want to make some points on this here, and we want to roll out of here. The last topic for the night is God, the biggest bully of them all. Why would you say that, brother? Well, first of all, I've never met this God. I mean, some of y'all keep telling me about this God and everything, and I asked you to introduce me to this guy. Can we meet at a bar somewhere and get a drink? You know, I like to sit down with this God person. You know, I have yet to meet this God. I was locked up and cried for this God. Please, God, you know, get me out of here. I cried to the Christian God, Jesus. I cried to the Allah. I cried to any God I could think of, and nobody showed up. It even got to the point where I cried out to the devil, Satan. Now, you know, I was religious at that time, so I was scared to really call off for Satan. I thought that the room would turn red and fire start coming up, and you know, he coming through the floor or something. I told Satan, get me out of here. You can have my soul. I will serve you, bro. You know, I'm not like Jesus. You know, they said that Jesus was approached by Satan and said, look, you follow me and I give you all of this. And Jesus said, nah, I'd rather stay broke down and out and follow God. So the devil said, you know, teach his own. Go ahead, bro. But you know, if the devil had shown up in my room and offered me that, I would have took it. Not only do I get out, but I get all the women and the gold and silver. Hell yeah, me and the devil, we rolling. We doing our thing. But Satan didn't show up either. So I'm questioning all this stuff. But right now, I'm thinking about what I've been told about this God person or being. I don't know. And this God person or being is always a he, never a she. And see, this is the thing. If this God is a spirit has no need for a gender, period. A spirit does not have to reproduce, because the reason why you have a penis, the reason why there's a vagina, you call she and he, is because you are male and female, simply because of reproduction purposes. This God, this being, since this God has no need to reproduce, this God should be gender neutral and should not be called a he or a she. In fact, an it. Matter of fact, God is a title, just like police officer. But police officer Taalik, that's just a title. God is a title. It's not a being. It's not a person. It's a title. So who are you talking about is God? Since God is a title. But they never say who this God is. They just say God, but they don't say who it is, actually who this God is, because God is simply a title. But even so, upon my observation of this God person or being or whatever this God is, because I've never met God, and these people, they never met God. They can't guide me to this God. So, because I have a lot of questions for this God person, but This is what I've noticed about this God. God is a bully. God is a bully because God pick on weaker people like myself. If I don't do what God said, then God gonna send me to hell because God got all this power. That's what bullies do. Bullies make threats. If you don't do what I tell you, I'm gonna do this to you. God tell you, you don't do what I say, I'm gonna send you to hell for eternity. Bullies use fear to get what they want out of their victim. And that's exactly what this God does. Now, at the same time, you keep telling me this God is so peaceful and loving, but at the same time, this God is talking about sending people to hell because you don't want to do what this God said, but yet at the same time, this God tell you that you have free will. But when you act upon your free will, this God said, I don't want you to do that. You got to obey me. Look, that's confusing. Do you want me to have free will or do you want me to be your damn slave? The whole thing is confusing. Least to say that the God made the devil. The devil was remember, the devil is a rebellious angel. God made the devil. And this God got something against homosexuals. But God makes everybody. So God, now why would God make homosexuals, but at the same time said that it's a sin to be a homosexual? So you setting somebody up for failure from their very beginning. You made them that way. You made them a devil. Who in the hell is going to create an enemy to themselves? That's just like saying me and my wife get together and we said, baby, let's get together and make a baby so that baby can kill us, you know, when it gets of age. Nobody is going to do that. Nobody is going to make an enemy to themselves on purpose, but that's what this God done. They said that the God done that to show the power of this God. No, you showing me that you a damn fool. Because clearly the last few thousand years, God has been losing this battle because everywhere you turn around, it seems as though people are more evil and wicked than they are righteous and good. Then I question what is this righteousness and good crap? Are you righteous and good because you want to be righteous and good? Or are you righteous and good because of the fear of going to hell? And most times they would tell you, I don't want to go to hell. They would rather do the things, the fun things that the devil offered. But because they fear going to hell, I'm going to try to be good. See, hell don't scare me. Tell your God that he don't scare me with that hell crap. I don't care nothing about your heaven or your hell. I'm not impressed by you, sir. You've been running around here and you've been allowing this evil and wickedness to go on for I don't know how long, generations upon generations since humanity came upon his planet. You are a pitiful, pathetic parent. God is supposed to be our parent. We're supposed to be children of God. If this God was a human being in our system, this God will be charged with neglect and abuse. That's what this God will be a charge with. In fact, this God ain't nothing but a slave owner. This God only wants slaves. This God wants you to serve. Servant is just another way of saying slave. And it must be very arrogant to do that because you're nothing but a simple human being made out of flesh and blood. How can you serve God? Remember, God is all powerful. God created the heavens and the earth. How the hell can you serve God when God can easily do whatever God want to do? God can do it. What can a simple human being do for God? How can we serve God except be a trophy to show off that look at these slaves I got? Because you can't do nothing for God. There's nothing that we can do. Salutations to my dark-skinned sister, the original dark-skinned activist. My sister Rashida's in the house. Syrian is in the house, and brother Roderick is in the house. He wants to call in. Unfortunately, we don't have a call-in line, and I would try to get you in on my telephone, but my telephone be tripping trying to get people in. But maybe we can whatever you want to talk about, we can reschedule this. Maybe we can reschedule this so that you can talk. I'm not in a. I have the brother on my speakerphone. Usually we set it up with Brother Craig, and Brother Craig got it set up so that we can take calls. My telephone, I might be able to get you in, and I might not. It's messed up. But we can do this again, brother. We can set up whatever you want to talk about when Brother Craig get back into business, and we can continue the conversation. But I have all these questions. I have all these questions, and when you look at this God person, this God person is very violent. This God person killed many people. He uses water. He drowns the hell out of folks. God burns people up. God's gonna ask you to kill your son to show. That's some mafia action, ain't it? Ain't that some gang action? Ain't that the story of Abraham? I think it was Abraham. Was it Abraham where he asked Abraham? No, I think it was Abraham. He asked one of those prophets, I believe. Remember, he told to take the son to the altar to sacrifice his son on the altar for God. That sounds like some mafia, Italian mob action. You're going to prove your loyalty to me, kill your son. And this dumbass was going to do it. Because I want to show you that I love you. I said, dude, kill me and my son. If that's the case, it ain't happening. So, I'm looking, y'all, this is supposed to be a peaceful and loving God. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I really don't see it. Hold on a second. Yeah, I really don't see I don't see the love. Show me the love and the peace that y'all talking about. Y'all talking about, oh, God is so loving, God is so peaceful. Show me that. I don't see that in the scriptures. I see a God that's a bully, beating up on weaker folks. He's a dumbass, stupid enough to create an enemy to himself, and then put you in a position, create you as a homosexual, then make up a law against homosexuality, and then burn you up. Ain't that a
hold on, brother. Didn't the Quran say God created good and evil? Well, what was the purpose for good to be on this earth if he gonna create evil to go with it?
I don't know. This God he don't do a good job answering prayers. There's a lot of people who are Christians who are homeless. They got cancer and then suffering all kinds of sicknesses and stuff. I don't see this God answering your prayers. I don't claim the God thing, and I give my money, and these people talk about thank Jesus. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. You can give me my money back. Let Jesus give you $10. Because I'm the one that worked hard for this money. And it's my charity because I don't want to see another human being suffering. It has nothing to do with no God. If your God is like that, what you need my money for? See what I'm saying? And this God, to me, this God plays favorites. Now look at this. In the Christian religion, it's always Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Okay, Jesus is the Son of God. Okay. Why is always Jesus, Jesus, Jesus? How come it can't be Brother Guy? How come it can't be Brother Taalik? How come it can't be me? That's favoritism. I'm a child of God. Brother Guy's a child of God. Brother Taalik is a child of God, but it's always Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So you don't care nothing about your other children. All the focus is on this one guy. Why? Why is this guy so special? That's favoritism. That's favoritism. And then we supposed to be not only that, but we actually worshiping another child of God. You can't go to heaven. You can't get to the Father unless you go through this one particular son. What makes this son so special? All these children of God, that's favoritism. That's favoritism. And again, here you are, we have people that believe in God like Christians, but you have Christians murdered in churches nowadays. Where is God at? No, I'm just asking, where is this God at? You got Christians murdered, slaughtered in their church, worshiping God. Where is Jesus at? I want to know. There are Christians.
Better get, you got people in the mosques getting murdered.
Yeah, that too.
Down in prostration praying, they all getting sniped out.
Also in the synagogue.
Yeah.
Also in the synagogue. Where is this God at? And some of these Christians, not long ago, I remember a tornado while they was having service. A tornado came and wiped this church out. And people say that God is the one that created tornadoes. So why would God wipe these people out on a Sunday while they trying to worship God? These Muslims, they were going to Mecca, to walk around the Kaaba. And their airplane crashed into a mountain. Where was Allah at? Where was Allah when Malcolm was sitting up on the podium and somebody shot him down? Where was Allah? Where was Allah to protect Malcolm? Where are these gods at? Where is this God at while our ancestors are on these slave plantations being raped and murdered, lynched and castrated, and babies are getting cut out of the wombs of our slave mothers and mothers on the plantation? Where's all this stuff at?
I got a better one.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
If God made man, and if God is a man, who made God? Did God have a mother? Did he have a father? That's the question. You know what I mean? So then you have it where no one knows Jesus' last name. I'm assuming his name is, you got all these people, Jesus, Peter. So how you know which one is who's who? Like I know there got to be a million Peters back in biblical times. There had to be a million Jesus back in those times. So how do they know who's who? You know what I'm saying? You was talking about him, Jesus, God. He's supposed to be all knowing, right? But he's supposed to be all knowing. But he said he regrets making man. If you regret making man, didn't you should have already known that before you created them?
Right.
And then remember that scene that he was looking for Eve and they was hiding? He was like, yo, where y'all at? Wait a minute, you God.
Right.
So it just shows you that man made God.
Yeah.
It just shows you that man made up this God and they made him a he. They gave him a gender.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice the Bible is very homosexual because it's always talking about the man. Peter, John, Matthew, Moses. No women.
No women.
So women are not important?
No, I guess not.
And then you hear about these stories how Moses killed 3,000 of his own people because they didn't want to worship God. Wait a minute. You took too long at Mount Sinai. These black people, because I'm assuming they're black people, they build up this calf that they knew they remembered in Egypt. First of all, there's no such thing as no golden calf in ancient Egypt. Everybody should know that. So that should tell you right there the story is fictional. Because no black, if you look at ancient Egypt, you would never find no golden calf anywhere. And what's the name of? And they call it a golden calf. They didn't even give it a name. So that's fake. So they said, okay, no, we gotta worship something. So so they took all their gold, melted and melted this golden calf. So he comes down with this 2 tablets, and one of the laws said, do not kill. And then when he realized, when God said, no, you need to go down to your people because they're getting out of hand, because he left somebody in charge. I forgot the guy who left in charge, but he couldn't handle it. So he said, those who wants to be with me, those who wants to join me, but get your swords and kill everybody, women, children, everybody, 3,000 people. He said, because the Lord told him to do that. It was one story where the kids called one of the prophets bald head. And the guy called out the Lord. He said, oh, he cursed these 40 kids, and 2 bears came out and killed all of them. Which that don't make any sense either. But that's what I'm saying. Everything is surrounded by death. Yeah. And murdering. Violence. And people worship these people. They worship these prophets. Like Moses and even Jesus had got out of hand, flipping all tables and whipping people with sticks. Yeah. And I said, wait a minute, ain't he supposed to be a loving man? And see, when you're dealing with fear, you don't supposed to ask questions. Yeah. See, this is consciousness. What we talking about? This is real. What we're doing is real consciousness. Because we asking questions. Yeah. We know the story is fake. Because even when we talk about it, it's fake. It's fictional. You might as well believe in a tooth fairy and Santa Claus. You might as well. But at least these children's stories had a moral to it. What's the moral? What's the morals of these deaths? Didn't King David killed a lot of people for God? I mean, and then you got the Arabs. They supposed to believe it, but they killed and enslaved people. Yeah. All these religions is evil. And then you got people actually demonstrating this shit. They are demonstrating it. And they're going to say, oh, it's Allah or it's God. And, I have one person literally did me wrong. He said, well, the Bible said. The Bible said this. But just said, dude, you did me wrong. So whatever the Bible said, you're going to do it? So it's scary. We're scared. Look at Jim Jones. Look at Jim Jones. Right. Jonestown. You know how many black people got killed?
Close to 1,000.
At the closest 1,000. And you would think black people will learn from that? Nope. Oh, I mean, it's scary that we don't even honor and worship each other. Because if we did that, it wouldn't be no such thing as no black and black crime. Because if I looked at you like a god and you look at me like a god, I wouldn't kill you. I wouldn't do anything to you. If I worshipped you like a person, and it wouldn't be no killing. It would be a lot of respect and love. But it won't. You won't hear no black on black crime and none of that stuff. But that's what I'm saying. That if we can, like I said, like I know you and I, we went through some wars and all that stuff. But look how we came together. Because I look at you as a god. I look at you like my brother. So I know. Look, I will never go over the top. Like brothers, family, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that. But we don't go over to the top to the point we had to deal with threats or nothing like that. I don't threaten my people like that. Only time I threaten my people, it comes down to the point when that person is no longer my brother. Like Chuck D said, he said every brother ain't a brother. And did he say that? So that's what I'm saying. This religion is killing us, man. It's killing us. And all this been taught to us through slavery. This is a slave through the control, and it's working. Yeah. You got a lot of these black people, like you said, donating to just Jesus. You can't donate to no dead man. You're dead.
Mm-hmm.
But when you want donations, they won't give it to you. When you want to do actual good for your people, they won't give it to you, but they will give it to a church.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who's pocketing that money? Guess what that money go to a white bank.
Right, absolutely.
And guess what? The church don't have to pay taxes. It's tax-free. So where the rest of that money going? Guess what? Going to the fancy cars, going to the suits, the nice shoes. And we still struggling, still talking about the same thing. Oppression. No jobs. Where was Jesus and God doing slavery? Where was Jesus and God doing Jim Crow? And wasn't black people praying to these gods and Jesus back then?
Yes, they was. Especially in Mississippi.
Exactly. All over the country.
Yeah.
And we still in the same boat. 2018, going on 2019. And guess what? You want to hear something funny? We still going to be talking about the same thing.
In 2019.
2019, the same thing. No change. We're going to be talking about the same thing. And you would think black people would say, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm done. I'm going to do what is necessary for my people. All these churches will not get one body. One body. Everybody, if everybody just stay out these churches and start putting their money together, just like just like yellow people do, just like white people do, just like red people do, put their money together and start building their own stores and grocery stores and all that stuff where they live at, then you will see real change. And I'm not saying you can have a place of worship, but just have one place of worship. Everybody come together and have one place of worship. All right? But, but it has to be something that be part of the culture. Because this is European stuff. This is created by European crap that created in Europe. The English Bible came from Europe. You can look that up. We shouldn't even be reading the Quran and the Bible, the King James, or I say Queen James, because this man was a homosexual. And he committed incest when the age of 13. He has his first homosexual act when he was 13 with his cousin. Oh, you got to read about him. It's crazy. Actually, Shaka Amos, I think you heard of him. He talked about that. He went deep in that. That's how I learned it from. So what you're saying, brother, it's on point. I have to agree with it. There's questions that these Christians and these Christians, Negroes, and these Muslim Negroes cannot answer. They'd rather just beat around the bush, or it's like they create their own stories as they go. So if you have questions, they will turn around and say, well, if I turn around and say, well, why would he say he's looking for Adam and Eve? Well, he knew what they was, but he just wanted to see if they was going to just be honest and all this stupid shit. It's like that. That's what they would say. It's just stupid stuff. And it's obvious he was looking for them. Like, how could you looking for your God? And one more thing before in this, the tree of life. What is wrong with knowledge? Then the tree was supposed to be known. Remember, the serpent came and said, "Well, the reason why if you eat this apple, your eyes will open." Well, didn't we always talking about when we learn something, our eyes will open to new things? Is that a bad thing or a good thing? I'm asking, is that a bad thing or a good thing?
For me, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. So why is it? So wait a minute. Did God want Adam and Eve? These supposed to be adults. So he wanted these guys to be idiots and dummies, independent, and that's what the Bible's teaching black people is to be what? Dependent. God did not want Adam and Eve to be independent because they wouldn't have to need God. Once their eyes are open, they know right from wrong. They have knowledge. They knew how to sew. They sew their own clothes. That's a good thing.
Right.
And then you got these Christians, well, too much knowledge is a bad thing. There's no such thing as too much knowledge. There's no such thing. Because in the Bible, like you said, it's a contradictory. It says, our people are destroyed because of what? Of a lack of knowledge. That's in the Bible. In their own Bible. So wait a minute. So this is what the Bible teaching black people is to be dependent, not to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason why every time they go through stuff, instead of relying on each other, they relied on the supernatural person, and they end up doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I rest my mic on that.
Brother, I would like to chime in before we close this out, my brother. On that situation, I mean, as far as man worshiping man, man seeing man as a fellow God, then in that case, like with the Nation of Islam, if the black man is supposed to be God, yet you see gods killing each other. So, I mean, I have to say this, that, I mean, even that's what the Bible says. I mean, the only thing Clarence 13X did was take away the image of Master Farad Muhammad, who was supposed to have been a half Aboriginal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he said that all black men are gods, and that, but other than that, you still got the 5%ers killing each other, selling dope to each other, killing each other. So, I mean, going by these God titles, I mean, I ain't never seen nowhere in the history on earth. Because, I mean, like this, just like in ancient Greece, when they were worshiping gods like Jesus and Zeus and these other different gods, right? But yet they were worshiping gods that looked like them, right? Mm-hmm. But they still was at war, killing each other. And you could go way back into their history and see that, even with that God thing, as far as the image of God being worshipped or idolizing other human beings as gods. But it was always war at the same time going on. Just like when we could go back to Egypt, during the time of Egypt, you had these civilizations during the so-called different dynasty periods of Egypt, and they worshipped Osiris, Isis, Nut, and these other gods. Which also the other gods in Egypt, they worshipped like Hotep and all that other stuff. But yet, at these different periods of times, even though it was said that the black man in Egypt was supposed to have been looked upon as a god, but them black civilizations were still going to war with each other. The first Christians were supposed to have been the Ethiopians, who was called Coptic Christians. But they was always at it with each other, constantly going to war. I mean, to this very day, that's just like the same man that they look up to in the Rastafarian culture as God, Jah, Haile Selassie. Look, he killed millions of his people in Ethiopia, which led to his own demise. So, I mean, this worshiping another human as a god, or seeing another human as a god, irregardless even what race you in, which history proves, don't mean nothing. This is why religion needs to be eliminated altogether. Spirituality spirituality needs to be eliminated altogether. You know, the whole concept of this thing is this. As human beings, according to nature, do unto those as you want to be done unto you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they even say in the religious book called the Bible. Okay? That's all basically what that principle is. Treat each other as you want to be treated. Treat your fellow neighbors, your fellow brother kind, your fellow sister kind, as you want to be treated. And that comes from just the mereness of human nature, which religion ain't got nothing to do with at that point. So, I mean, at the same time, I have to say, when really dig into history and look back, I mean, like I say, the Europeans idolize gods, even to this day in Greece and places like they did in ancient Rome. But they were still killing each other, going to war with each other. And do that make them any different from black people? You know, because like I said, there was a lot of killing and slaughtering going on in Egypt too, when they were worshiping these Nubian black Egyptian gods. So I mean, I'm just saying, it's a lot of inconsistencies with that.
I want to say something real quick. I'm not saying there haven't been wars, and even during the 25 dynasties, but look what black people have accomplished when we was together, because black people were still together. Now, also times when there was invasions, black people was killing white people. And that's on the walls of Kemet. And I did my debate. That's the first thing I when I debate the Arab wannabe, that's the first thing I put up there was our people. They didn't play that. But ever since our people took on the white man's religion, what have we built? Not a damn thing. We still under oppression. We still following his God. They still going to the churches, killing us while we praying to his God. And we haven't built nothing. At least when we had our own gods and goddesses in our image, we was building. And when I say, my brother, what's up, God? How you doing, God? It's better than using the N-word, because that's a form of respect. I'd rather say that and look at you as great than look at you as just as what the white man would call us. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't see what's the problem, because once I say that, that means I could build with you. That means I could do business with you. That's a good thing. I won't. And then when we use the word God, when I use the word God, God to me is resources. That's what God to me. I worship resources. I worship gold, oil, and diamonds. That's what God to me is. And all that wealth in Africa. And Negroes talking about hating Africa and all that stuff. That all those reasons, that's a lot of resources that we could be getting. That's our stuff. But you can't talk about you because that's what I'm saying. All these white people, they go in there, they take what they take it, and they're getting wealthy. And while we still talking about trivial bull crap, they getting wealthy and getting wealthier. So that's what I'm saying, is that we need to start putting God in the right place. Because those deities that you're talking about, those wasn't, we know these people wasn't real. You know, like Uhuru with the falcon head, when you're human body, we know that didn't exist. But that was symbolic to us. That meant something. You know what I'm saying? But what happened with Europeans they took it and humanized and put white faces on it. So what I'm saying is that I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with what we do. If we're gonna do something, I'd rather have things in our image. You know what I'm saying? Something our people created. But you know, all this, oh, we don't need this and all that. We gonna reject everything. You know, our ancestors left all this stuff just for us to just throw it away and just end up worshiping some white man's crap. And then we end up with nothing. We end up being what? Dependent. And that's what the Bible teaches us. To be dependent on the white man, because the white man wants us to worship him as God, as the Almighty. This is the reason why you see the white Jesus Christ and all that stuff. That's what you think. That's what you think that does with our psyche. So we have to get our natural state, and we have to pick God in the right place, which is God is the natural resource. G is the gold, O is the oil, and D is for diamonds. And I tell people, if you're not about resources, then you're not about building. You know, I would just tell black people, stop complaining and go after the resources. You know what the white people do? Those Israelis, those evil. I call them crackers. They're Jewish crackers. You know what they do? You know that the whole Torah fight, the Torah is always fighting over land. They don't care about that Torah crap. They're fighting over land. That's the reason why they do a lot of fighting in the between the with the Arabs and all that. And these are cousins, supposedly. These are cousins. This is religion. But they fighting over land. They fighting over resources. We the only race of people we ain't fighting over no reason. We fighting over which God is better. Something that was given to us. And that's what's killing us. And we'll kill. I remember DMX, the rapper DMX, he said, I would kill people over Jesus. He would kill a human being over Jesus. Now you think about that. I rest my mic.
Okay. On that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because I got to get out of here. That was very interesting what Brother Guy had to say. I did want to bring some questions, but we don't have time for that, so I'll leave that alone. But I'll leave that for next time. I did want to ask Brother Guy about when he says that that's our stuff. I want to know how does that make it our stuff? I mean, did we buy it? Did we get a title? Or I mean, how did it become ours? You know, I mean, who what makes this ours? You know, how do we become owners in this thing? And you said God means gold, oil, and diamonds. You know, I'm not interested in gods and spirits and spooks and no kind of form. And when you look at God in the manner of gold, oil, and diamonds, that's nice, but at the same time, that's one of our severe problems. We are materialistic, just like the races are. That's what it's all about. You know, yes, your God, you know, money and material things. That's one of our problems. That's the reason why these scam artists get over, because these scam artists are giving us dreams of those different things. You know, materialistic. That's why they do what they do, because they want to be rich, you know, all that time. We in this nation, that's what we become. And we keep talking about this cracker, and we want to be just like them. We don't mind. Our problem is we have that same mentality. We just don't want the white folks to run over us, and we become materialistic and crazy and just like they are. So my idea also is when the gold runs out, because it's going to run out, because it's a rare metal anyway. Pretty soon you're going to dig it all out the ground. You're going to get all the oil out the ground, because the oil was made because of millions of years to create oil. Once you get it out the ground, you can't replace it. It's over. It's going to take millions of years to create some more, which is not going to happen. You know, and the diamonds, pretty soon you're going to get every diamond out of the earth. Then what? So Africa's going to be raped just like Europe and all the other places. Then what do you do? All your resources is gone. Everything is lapped up. You got bad water, bad air. Then what do we do? You know, and your God. See, our whole mentality, our whole mindset has to change. Our whole idea of how we live and got to change. We trapped into these things that did not do ancient people no good, and it's clearly not doing us no good. We have this mindset that we have to come up out of. You know, we need to be focusing on those things that are alive. Your wife, your children, other human beings. And we need to get out of this materialistic kind of crazy crap that we've been trapped into. You know, again, it goes back to getting rid of one slave master and just joining another. I'm not into that. I want true freedom. I'm not going to get caught up in no form of slavery, but that's something for another day. I want to thank Brother Guy for joining us. I thank Brother Taalik. And I want to say this also, what we must understand about religion. Religion gives us hope. I can guarantee you, many of the people, when we talk, they understand and they agree with what we're talking about, but when it's all said and done, wherever you find people under oppression, wherever you find people being exploited and they don't have no way out, they always turn to religion. It gives them hope. It's comfort. You know, I'm going to go to heaven. I'm catching hell right now. But when I die, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to go to a beautiful place. It's hope. That's what it's all about. That's why people hold on to it. It gives them hope of something better than what they live in now. Many slaves have died believing in, once I go to another place, it's going to be better than this. So that's why people can't get rid of it. That's why they grab on to something. That's why they're looking for some savior, some God to help them, because they're powerless under this oppression. They need a Superman. They need something to come and help them. And that's the reason why they do it. And I understand that people need hope and whatever. And the only thing I'm going to do is just, I have to tell the truth, but I'm not going to knock somebody and get on people's case and try to take their hope away from them. I'm not going to do that, because clearly a lot of people need that. Me, myself, I don't need that. But a lot of people, unfortunately, they do. So I'm going to let them have that, you know. And
I know you got to close out.
Yeah.
I know you got to close out. But I just want to interject one thing.
Yeah.
This is why I was saying that we must look at merely learning how to deal with each other as fellow human beings in a righteous way, without religion even being in that. And you know, because when we deal with each other on a righteous level, as human beings are supposed to, especially if we are the same people, you know what I'm saying? Then that negates materialism, religion, you see what I'm saying? And all that. You know, whereas people will be able to share freely among each other. And then, like you were saying, as far as how the resources being wiped out the ground, the resources in that way will be able to be consumed more efficiently. That way we ain't got to worry about resources being wiped from the earth. If humans knew how to deal with each other on a common, respectable level, as far as doing right by each other. You know what I'm saying? And see, those were the basic first principles that religion was based from. That's where religion got its beginning of ideology from. You see what I'm saying? But that is a reality that religion got far away from. And those who worship and follow religion got far away from. And this is why we see the world the way it is now. You see what I'm saying? That's why I was saying we cannot look at these gods even as symbols, even as just merely worshiping them in the image of being gods or whatever, because that takes away from the human aspect, the real human core aspect of things. Is how do I treat my fellow brother? Because you got to remember, these God titles is exalting. Just one man exalting another man. And I just don't think that was the original purpose for humanity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, but, I mean, I don't have no problem with us you know what I'm saying, coming together as a people, you know, and looking at one another in a respectable manner as a people, and respecting each other and knowing that we come from the same, you know, ethnic or cultural bloodline. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, we have to know how to discern religion from that and symbolism from that, because that's what's got the world in the condition that it is in today. You know, that's why I had to step outside the conscious community and emancipate myself. You see what I'm saying? To see the difference and to be able to discern that fact. Now, I mean, we can treat each other, like I say, as fellow brothers and sisters without even symbolism being involved. And I mean, you know, our history as dark-skinned descendants of slaves here in America, basically, you know, that's all good when you hear about, you know, dark-skinned, ancient dark-skinned civilizations like Egypt, Timbuktu, and all them other places. But at the same time, that history do not correlate with our history here. Meaning, we got to turn it around and create our own complete new reality. And not base our reality on someone else's civilization.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? But what we can do is learn from our ancestors over here in America the do's and don'ts, so that we don't fall into the traps of where they fell at. This is why we got to set this example for generations that's coming behind us. And leaving religion out of it, and also leaving symbolism out of it, definitely plays one of the best parts in helping this new reality come. Because long as we look for something to cling on to as a form of hope in terms of spirituality and religion, we're going to keep getting the same thing. You know, and it's no different than, like I say, what happened in ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, even in ancient China. Look, they worshiped zillions of gods over there during the ancient times, but they still went to war with each other. And you know, and I mean, a lot of people would say that, would think that, well, you know, this had a lot to do with unity or whatever, but a lot of times, if we look at it, you know, a lot of, in them ancient civilizations over there, a lot of them Africans allowed them Europeans purposely to come over there and do what they did. Just like with the selling of the slaves, trading slaves off for gold. Just like over in Zanzibar, where black Muslims sold his own people into slavery to the Arabs. So, I mean, when we look at it, and plus, too, I want to just say this before I let you close, that at the same time, you know, it's a situation where it's, when you look at it, we cannot put resources first before the people of Africa. It's about putting the people of Africa first.
Mm-hmm.
Because to begin with, they the ones that matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they over there where the resources at. So for us to leave from over here and 3,000 miles and go way over there and tell them how we need to get them resources, they gonna look at us like we crazy. Like, who is you to come 3,000 miles away from America, Negro, to tell us anything about resources. If anything, we got to reclaim these resources first. And then, once they claim those resources, we might not ever get a chance to touch it. And that's just the reality of it. Because we know how them Africans fight among themselves over there. It's a complicated thing when you're dealing with that type of stuff. So we have to build a new reality where our history as a people begin over here in America, from the slave plantation, and build from that and create our own reality. That's the best way we could emancipate ourselves at this point, as dark-skinned people here in America. And with that, I'll pass the mic on to you, brother, to finish us off.
Well, I concur, but I'm pretty sure you have folks that would disagree, and we'll say that for another day. But I want to thank again Brother Guy for joining the panel tonight, Brother Taalik for joining us. Send a shout out to all those who are in the chat room, those who are on Facebook. And again, I want to put out this disclaimer. The views expressed does not represent the campaign called Operation Exodus Mississippi. In fact, why don't you subscribe to that channel in the description box? Subscribe to Brother Taalik in the subscription box in the video. And until next time, y'all, like I say, this talking about Malcolm X and Nation of Islam Farrakhan is getting a little on the redundant side. So next year, hopefully, we can chill out a little bit and leave that alone. We got other things, like I said, we got other fish to fry. You know, we're not going to continue to be talking about that because it's not going to affect what the Nation of Islam Farrakhan is doing. Those people believe in that man, and until the day that he dies. So, you know, and he's 80-some years old right now. You know, the natural process of life, you know, it's just we ain't gonna be talking about him too much longer anyway, like a lot of these older persons. You know, we come here on this planet and then we stay for a while, then we go, you know. So with that said, I'm out. And like Dr. Lee is always saying, I wish us love, peace, and soul, y'all. And we are going off air.